Welcome back. Tonight I'm here doing an investigation at the Brown Mansion in Coffeyville, Kansas. And joining me tonight is my friend Seth Andrews.
Hey, it's been an amazing night so far. It's like going back in time. It really is kind of a time machine. As you hear the stories of the family, everybody who lived here, those who died here, and the stories that continued on over a century after the construction of this place. It really is worth a tour, whether or not you're paranormally investigating or just learning about it. It's amazing stuff.
Yes, and we're not left completely unsupervised. We also brought some professionals, and here they are from Tulsa, Oklahoma Paranormal Studies.
Hi, I'm Amanda Bustos. I'm the co-founder of TOPS.
Hello, I'm Rolando Bustos.
Hi, Tiana Tripany.
Hi, Braden Tripany.
Hey, Mark Hall.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and hopefully we'll find some, remnants of the past here at Brown Mansion. Around the turn of the last century, W.P. Brown, an extremely wealthy lumber and natural gas magnate, began making plans for a new home for his family in Coffeyville. Sources vary, but between 1903 and 1906, the Brown Mansion was completed. W.P. and his wife Nancy lived a life plagued by tragedy. They lost 2 sons in childbirth. Their son William died in 1898 at the age of 4. Donald, born in 1900, passed away in 1911, 1 month before his 12th birthday, from complications of diabetes, leaving only W.P., Nancy, and their daughter Violet living in the mansion. For years, the Brown Mansion was left vacant, and local residents would report a mysterious green glow emanating from the windows. Today, visitors claim to hear the sounds of Nancy weeping for her lost children. W.P.'s tobacco pipe is said to be smelled from time to time. Violet is said to be seen dancing in the ballroom. Donald is said to be heard humming a tune. And the butler, Charlie, is said to be seen in his room in the basement, waiting to greet visitors upon arrival. Tonight, 2 skeptics and a team of paranormal investigators will attempt to debunk or verify the haunting of the Brown Mansion. Well, Seth, we finally made it happen. Here we are at the Brown Mansion. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, I don't know why, it's almost like the fates were against us. Every time we'd schedule a rendezvous to go sort of test the spirits.
I mean, it's almost like they wanted to stop us. They're afraid of us.
I can see how some people would see that as agency behind that, Well, they didn't want to be disturbed, or they felt you were going to disrespect them, and so then they slammed the door in your face. Maybe they're saying maybe even storms late tonight, is this their way of protesting? That I can hear some people maybe making that assertion. So
the first time that we were going to do this, I ended up with COVID, and we had to reschedule for a couple weeks later, and then, the second time we were about to go to the location we were going to, and their pipes broke.
Yeah.
And flooded the building, I guess.
I'm telling you, and nature itself has filed protest against us, kind of thing.
So we'll see what happens tonight.
It's one of those things that a lot of people who know me ask, why? What's your interest? And, we're here with a paranormal group, lovely people. Do I find myself ticking the boxes in my head when I hear them talk about, a lot of the familiar things that we have spoken about on the show? Certain encounters. Do I recognize we're pattern seekers? Do I understand confirmation bias, the desire to believe and how we lean into what we expect, and the psychology of belief and all those things? I do find myself kind of going down the list, but at the same time, I think a good skeptic goes in and says, let's just keep our eyes and ears open and let's understand what may be happening here, but still, investigate, right? I think that's fair, and it's also kind of fun. I enjoy this kind of thing. I enjoy horror fiction, ghost stories. I produce ghost stories books myself, just because I enjoy that genre. So why wouldn't I want to be at the Brown Mansion?
Yeah, the worst thing that's going to happen is we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll get a screwdriver thrown at us.
The lore behind it is interesting. I don't know if lore is the right word, but you hear about this wealthy family and then the tragedies that befell this family, and did the tragedy that happened to all of the children who had passed away, etc. Apparently the spirits are happy about it. I don't know. Oh no, those are some of the keepers of the grounds. It makes for a great tale. You can almost see lowering the lights and saying that there was a child who died in the house, and yet he was known for playing with his toys in the hallway, and he has been seen there even still. Okay, I understand the appeal of that kind of thing,
Hi, my name is Samantha Dean. I am the Assistant Director of the Coffeyville Public Library and the Secretary for the Coffeyville Historical Society. This is the Great Hall. They didn't have living rooms at the time, obviously, right? So it was more just entry and exit. We do have one of the many examples of beautiful Tiffany stained glass in this door that gets the beautiful setting sun. We also have one of the 9 fireplaces in the home. And this particular fireplace is the only wood burning fireplace in the house. All of the rest are gas. Obviously, gas was the Browns thing. That's how they made their money. Neat thing about this room is the couch that we have sitting over here. I have to throw this little tidbit of information in because that couch was actually donated to the Historical Society by Charles Gump. If you're familiar with Coffeyville and the Dalton raid, he was one of our Coffeyville defenders against the Dalton gang, and he donated that couch to the Historical Society, so that's displayed here. Music room. Very popular room. We do currently use this for showers, and we do occasionally let people play on the piano, usually the Steinway. This is an 1881 Chickering, another really old classic feature of the house. A 1941 Steinway. All of the doors open up onto the veranda, and you have a beautiful, what was at the time, beautiful gardens here on the south lawn. Unfortunately, obviously, those are no longer here, but at the time, it would have been quite a lavish affair. This is my favorite room of the house, the library. The Brown's daughter, Violet, the only child of the Browns that survived to adulthood, was a librarian by trade. So she was very, very fond of books, obviously. A little bit of activity in this room the last time I was in here. They did have some cat balls. We were talking about those the last time here in front of the fireplace, and got some, there was definitely some interaction going on. We assume that was Violet, like I said, since that was her room. This is one of the prize pieces of the house, the dining room with our famous Tiffany pendant lamp, gasolier light, installed by Louis Tiffany himself, who was a family friend. Kitchen. This is the butler's pantry, which has been converted in recent years. So we do use it for catering and stuff. It's actually the only room in the house where anybody has died. So Mr. Brown was the only person to actually die in the house, and he did do so in this room, which at the time they were using as like a caretaking, you know, because it was on the first floor, obviously. So that is the only place where somebody has passed away. The basement is definitely one of the most active places in the house, so you can't miss it. So we have refrigerator. Well, by that I mean icebox. Our icebox back here, which is original to the house, and they used to, at one point in time, they went through, I believe it was like, I want to say a number, but I'm going to be totally wrong. A lot of ice that they shipped in here every single day to keep their food cold. Not a whole lot back there. Bowling alley, a lot of like decorations and Halloween stuff. So you're welcome to kind of poke back there and peek around, but there's not.
You said a bowling alley?
It was, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, at one point in time. Now it's mostly Halloween decorations left over from the haunted house that the high school kids do. So laundry room, they had upwards of 30 servants at one point in time. So there was constantly people coming and going, particularly down here, you know, would have really been just buzzing with energy. Laundry chute right here, elevator, which does go to all 4 floors, and it does still technically work. We just don't use it. Also another kind of heavy spot. A lot of people seem to really just, if there is any sort of negative energy in the house, this is usually where it is felt. Not that there's really anything ever bad talked about. Generally, anybody that worked for the Browns usually had good things to say. But for whatever reason, this is kind of the room that freaks people out. The workshop, obviously, I mean, everything in here is original to the house. Tools from, you know what I mean, turn of the century, 1900s, you know, so there's energy there. It's probably in all of this. This is what was being used to work and run and keep this big, beautiful house going. And we've got a convenient little staircase leading us right back up here.
Did the butler live down here?
Yes, this is our butler's quarters right here. This would have been his room. And I'll show you because it's really convenient. Oh. They always thought this stuff through when it came to the servants, you know? And you'll see we're going to come right out next to coat check. Right back where we started. I don't know if I mentioned if anybody is an architectural buff. So it was built by a Wilder and White architectural firm out of Kansas City. They studied under Stanford White of an architectural firm in New York. It's very similar to, I want to say it's the Patterson Mansion at DuPont Square in Washington, D.C., and the Chattanooga Public Library. If you look up the Chattanooga Public Library, it's uncanny. They're very, very similarly built. The staircase is one of the examples of their architecture. It's called a floating staircase. The stairs themselves, if you'll notice, are very short and very long, right? So that was to accommodate Nanny, who was only 4'11". So he wanted, you'll see it in some of the furniture and stuff too. He was very conscientious of her short little steps, but then they're wide for Mr. Brown's big old feet because he was 6'3" and 220 pounds. So they made quite a beautiful pair. The house is very, very much a love letter from William to Nanny. He very much loved his wife, and it is shown in just in all of the details of the house. The Brown family here, all of the boys, they had Violet first. She was the only one that survived to adulthood, and then all of the rest of the boys died in childhood at some point in time. And then Donald, the only child to actually live in this house, whose bedroom we're about to come to, he was afflicted what we believe to be hemophilia, right? So Violet had a child of her own, a product of her second marriage, that lived only for a couple of minutes, not even hours. When she gave birth to her child, they cut the umbilical cord, and the doctor told her that he never stopped bleeding, and the baby died. So Violet assumed that that was what had afflicted her brother. Donald lived to be 11 years old, unfortunately. And despite sending him to California for the best medical care that they could get at the time, he was always a very fragile and sickly child. Violet wrote that he would get injured, and whenever he would get hurt, he would what she suspected was internal bleeding, and he would end up with like real sick infection, and it would take him really a long time to get over it. And unfortunately, yeah, that did end up to him losing his life when he was 11. He did not die here. Like I said, he had been sent to California for treatment, so he actually died in California. However, they did bring his body back, and they definitely did the ceremony, or they did a memorial service in the music room, and he is buried just down the street at Elmwood Cemetery with the rest of the family. Intended to be a live-in nursery, obviously, but being as they never had any more children that lived in the house, that was converted for her seamstress. We do have her wedding dress on display in there. Violet's room over here. Now, Violet never actually lived in the house as a child. She was already grown and married and moved off but by the time that construction was completed. But her parents obviously wanted her to have a room of her own. This room it's got beautiful canvas walls that were hand stenciled by an Italian painter with irises all along the border. Violet, however, like I said, she didn't actually ever use this room. And by the time that she moved back in to take care of her parents when they were older and ailing in the 30s, she ended up taking up residence in the Taft room, which we'll go look at here in just a second. She didn't like the light on this side of the house. Like I said, she was an avid reader, so she preferred the morning east sun that she got in the Taft room at the other end of the house. And then this is the master, and it does share a Jack and Jill very full bath, and they share with Donald. Another beautiful fireplace. And then this is the Taft room. We call it the Taft room because President Taft did freshen up in here before he gave a speech, something about the rivalry between Coffeyville and Independence, but he just kind of washed his face. But this is the room that Violet stayed in from 1934 when she moved in to take care of her parents until she fell in this room in the 60s and broke her hip. And after that point was a paraplegic for the rest of her life, supposedly because she didn't follow the doctor's orders during her recovery time. So she never walked again, and that was when she converted the billiards room downstairs and spent the rest of her time in the house on the first floor, unfortunately. So this is the ballroom. Obviously this was where we hosted our parties, and they were known for some pretty lavish shindigs up here. You can see we've yet again got more examples of the beautiful hand stencil from our Italian painter. If you notice, we also have some hooks up in the ceiling here. Those would have been for Donald. He did his schoolwork up here, and that included some low impact like gymnastics training. Like I said, any injury was pretty detrimental to him, so they tried to, he wasn't, spending a lot of time outside for fear of being hurt. So a lot of that got done right up here, probably on that table right there. We've got our two little fainting rooms off to the side, you'll see, where our ladies could excuse themselves for a minute to catch their breath. And their gentlemen can keep an eye on them through the windows while they're smoking their cigars.
Oh, she walks past at night. No doubt.
We do ask that you be respectful. We feel like whatever presence might be in the house is a very loving, very protective, just warm energy is usually what people experience here. Nothing scary, nothing malicious. Like I said, it's all just very warm and comforting. We have had investigators in the past that have tried to provoke and be maybe not very nice or not very respectful, and they had some not very good experiences, so we discourage that. Like I said, this is very much a home of love, and that's what we're trying to preserve, and that's what we like to keep alive, and that's the energy that we like to put back into the building, so I know you guys will do the same.
What's the purpose of this closed off doored space?
Cigars. I think that's where they went out to smoke. And I don't think they were always doored off. I think that was done
Maybe it was an
later.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe they were open verandas at the time.
Let's go out there and.
And you'll see they've got the windows through to the painting rooms.
I see.
So they could keep their eye on the lady.
I see. It's remarkable.
Isn't it? Mm-hmm.
You've given this tour a few times.
Only once or twice, yes.
So while we're investigating, obviously we've got all of our devices. You know, we're going to be looking for evidence. What do you think would constitute sufficient evidence to prove the existence of the paranormal?
Well, you know, the challenge that I have, I think, begins with the word paranormal, extra normal, beyond normal. It's almost like metaphysical. And so, you know, I was listening to someone earlier speak about how even the devices that we have brought, the detectors and the rods and you know, the lights and all of these sort of things that are being brought out of the closet for this investigation, they admit they're not scientific. So it becomes a challenge, because if I'm not convinced anything exists beyond the natural, and I don't have proper tools to investigate something that's supposed to interact with the natural world, it sort of leaves me in this weird spot. And also, I'm not convinced it's a totally paranormal question. If the supernatural interacts with the real world, the material realm, that's still something that can be seen, touched, measured, observed, replicated maybe? I don't know, if something is touching a wall, a glass, a blade of grass, you know, is making the breath on your shoulder, that is whispering, that is laughing in the hallway. I mean, this is an interaction with something physical that I think can be measured and tested. So I guess the long answer to a very short question is, I would want peer review. You know, I would want reliable metrics in place, reliable tools to be able to measure it. And I don't think we can afford ourselves the conceit of saying, well, one of the attributes of it is that it can't be measured. I struggle with that one. I don't know, what's your take on it?
You know, I mean, obviously, if I'm trying to prove it to other people, yeah, we need to have some sort of reliable metric. But I don't know that there's a way to, like, I don't think there's a way to do it. Well, mostly because I don't believe in ghosts. But, you know, I think that it could be proven to me if I'm looking at, I don't know, say a screwdriver, because Amanda has a story about a screwdriver being thrown at them in here.
So we were down in the basement and we were investigating. And at the time, well, actually down there, you'll see it, there's a ledge. And when we walked by, we have a video of it. You can see a screwdriver on the ledge. It wasn't like halfway tipping off. It's like shoved up against like the wall part of it. And we're walking down and all of a sudden we hear like this like noise right in, like literally right behind us. And we're like, what the heck was that? And so we turn around and this screwdriver was like down by our feet. So it had to gone like what, like 20 feet? 10 feet, 10, 20 feet, something like that. And we couldn't debunk it. I mean, it was weird. We didn't see it, but it was the same screwdriver because we looked back on that ledge and it wasn't there.
Fuck!
Whoa, what the hell? No way. No way. No way. What fell? Hello? I thought you hit something.
No, I was.
Yeah, I know. You were right behind me. Can you do that again? Is it that screwdriver?
I know what to do. I'd have to go back to the
Yeah.
video and see if I ever pointed down with it.
That was wild. Whoa. Hello? Jeff?
No, that I don't know, because it's... No, never mind. I thought maybe something kicked on, but no.
That's neat. Yeah. Make it hit the floor, see if it sounds the same. That's pretty loud. It sounded more metallic, I think. Maybe.
I can't remember the sound.
It sounded more metallic, but like,
They don't have their own security cameras.
If I were to look at it and say, if you're here, throw that screwdriver across the room, and then it flies across the room, I think I might be convinced if that were to happen.
It would certainly make an impression. It might be one of the first few bricks in the longer journey toward, well, what happened? What are the explanations? Is there an Occam's razor involved here that we need to look at?
Yeah, because that could be evidence for ESP or telekinesis.
I mean, if I'm in the Brown Mansion tonight and I hear a voice in my ear in a room that I am occupying alone, or if I feel fingers on my shoulder, or if a screwdriver flies across and lands at my feet, I would want to make that the first part of a longer journey as to, well, what the hell, right? And I think an open mind doesn't just say, well, it was obviously human-made, but at the same time, we then look at what are the most obvious explanations. Is brain psychology going on? How flawed is my perception? How much did I want to believe? And we've seen a lot of people who walk in, and they are so keyed up and so primed and so ready that all it takes is, a tiny creak of a floorboard, and it's grandma, right? Instead of temperature changes or the building shifting or something else going on, it has to be a member of the other world visiting us here in the physical plane kind of deal. I think we have to resist that.
Can you talk about a little bit about the equipment you're using?
Yeah, I got a K2 meter, EMF reader, and then a voice recorder, just a EVP recorder that we have. I haven't really got any hits. Over there, when I came in, yeah, it was all the way to the orange, but it hasn't. That's really the only hit I've gotten so far. Right here, and I am recording also, voice recording.
I have an IR, and which is infrared, so it obviously reads infrared heat signatures wherever we're at. And one of the theories is that spirits can sometimes give off enough energy that you can see it on the IR in the form of a heat signature. For example, if I pointed at Rolando here, you can see that there he is. But a lot of times we have to make sure that when we're coming up on like a reflective surface or something like that, that we make sure that we realize that's us and not something paranormal, because it can even reflect off of wood sometimes. So we have to be really mindful of what we're seeing on the camera itself. Then I have a cat ball that's based off of movement, and hopefully we can put it on the ground, and if a spirit decides to play with it, then it'll light up. We'll just do a little EVP session.
Yep, the recorder right here.
Okay. Are there any spirits with us tonight? Can you make a knocking sound so that we know that you're here? Is that them or dogs? I think that's dogs.
Sounds like dogs.
Yeah, the last time we were here, we heard a lot of dogs outside too, which is fine. The last time we were here, you were able to move the chairs around a little bit and we could hear them clanking together. Do you think you can do that again for us? Did you used to dance in here at one point? Do you still dance in here? There's some devices here around us that you don't need to be afraid of. There's this green light here. If you touch it, you can make the lights go up, or there's a little ball on the ground here. If you touch that, it'll light up as well. Can you possibly do that for us, please? Do you have a message for anybody? Do you know that you are dead? If you are still here, why are you here? Is there something that binds you to this location? Were you a family member that lived here?
Is Violet still here?
If you're an adult, can you make a knocking noise, please? If you're a child, can you make a noise? My name is Amanda. Can you tell me what your name is?
My name is Jeff.
How old are you? Can you make one of these lights turn off or flicker? Do you want us to leave?
Yeah, that was.
Get out. Last time we were here, we saw a shadow run across the floor. We thought it was didn't Violet or somebody have like a bunch of like show dogs or something like that? Wasn't that the thing that we found out?
I think so.
Or was that a different place?
No, I was here. The shadow of the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the floor below.
Yeah,
us.
but the story of somebody having show dogs, was that a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't.
Sure
We'd have to ask for sure. I don't know if it was here or somewhere else, but we did see like this thing that looked like it was just running across the floor in here. And we're like, that's weird.
Some hearing sounds. I wasn't sure if it was somebody coming up the stairs.
Yeah, I was hearing that earlier.
Walk over there.
That was the.
Turn my thermal on. Let's see. Hello?
Is there anybody with us? It's got a hit. On the K2.
Are you good?
Yep.
Do you know what our names are? That was not me.
Yeah, I heard it. But it was,
Are you back over here? Do you want to dance?
Can you make that noise again for us?
I need a dancing partner. Will you be my dancing partner? You were really active the last time we were here. What happened?
I think it was like around midnight when we were up here, right? Last time? 1?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was late.
You gotta come up here at the witching hour.
That's exactly. I think the later it is, the better.
Is there a reason you won't talk to us tonight? Are you shy? You don't need to be shy. Do you know what year it is?
Who is the president?
I was just about to ask that. That's fine.
Whoa, psychic connection.
Do you have a favorite for Halloween? Sorry.
And why is it the Raiders?
One of their biggest fans is Amanda Bustos, known to the Raiders Nation as the Black Widow.
Let's go, baby. Well, we're gonna leave if you're not gonna talk to us. You're boring.
But also, you are under no obligation to talk to us.
That's very true.
We're just here to hang out and hopefully meet some interesting people that are still in the Brown Mansion.
Very true. I just try to antagonize sometimes because sometimes it works.
Sometimes.
I promise I'm respectful of these places.
You're boring.
You're boring. Well, because sometimes then they're like, well, I'll show you. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
You know, but.
We're in the party room. Everybody should be playing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I could try playing some like 1920s music or something.
Got a jukebox right there. I wonder if it works.
Oh, that would be cool. It's crazy that like you can still hear this music today. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
That's them.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's them. Yeah.
I bet if they shut a door in the house too, it probably makes it.
Yeah. If I played some of today's music, you might not ever want to come back again. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys.
Yeah! I can hear Seth doing his story.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, okay. I knew it was one of them, but that's cool.
Turns on that sultry radio voice. Yeah, so we're gonna leave the room, but feel free to do your thing without us.
Yeah.
You can move these chairs around, do some dancing.
Yeah, as loud as you want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you?
You do you.
You do you.
It's one of the things I always talk about is if I do actually have a crazy experience that I can't explain, and I catch it on video, and I'll be all excited to put it out there and show everybody.
Yeah.
I already know that everybody's going to be like you and me and be like, yeah, whatever, that didn't happen.
It would be a challenge, wouldn't it? I mean, if Grandma showed up and she was floating 3 feet off the floor and
CGI,
and she was whispering things about the future that turned out to be true and all those things, and we were to go forward and say, and I can hear the conversation, I used to be a total skeptic, right? We'd start just like that. I used to be a total non-believer, and then it would be a tough sell. And I think it would be right that it was a tough sell. You know, anecdotal evidence is not really evidence, or it's not proof anyway, but it might be the first part of a longer discussion about what happened and why.
All right.
So I completely charged the battery in this camcorder and it's almost dead.
There you go. For some reason, all of my batteries have been going real fast.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if that means anything.
No! I don't either. Kind of weird though.
Do you guys ever do the Estes Method?
We have, yeah. I'm not opposed to it, but I don't really believe it.
Yeah, well.
But I mean, you know, you never know.
Who wants to go under?
Ben?
Mm-mm.
All right, I'll do it.
And the mask is.
Sensory deprivation, basically.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna ask if it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle or something. That's cool.
No.
It's a frog mask, and I can make it look stoned, you know.
Opposable eyes. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
10:30 already? Man, time is flying.
I've got to do my Duolingo before midnight.
Ooh. What do you use? Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you like to experience the Estes Method?
I need more. What's that?
All right, the Estes Method, which was developed in Estes Park, Colorado, hence the name, at the Stanley Hotel. They basically put a mask on and headphones, and it makes it so you can't hear the questions being asked, so it removes any bias.
Okay.
And then the person has the headphones plugged into the spirit box, which goes through the radio stations at a high rate, and you pick out words, and whoever has the headphones on just says whatever they hear in the radio.
Okay.
And the other people are asking questions, and sometimes there's a lot of correlation, and you get direct answers for things.
Wow.
Who knows if it means anything, but...
No!
So then if there was movement in this physical space, you would be able to see a reflection of that using all of these.
Supposedly, yeah.
Like a shadow or...
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, if you see his shadow blocks out the dots or whatever, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a seat right there and ask some questions, and we'll see if we can get anything?
Sure. I want that mask.
I will channel the spirits.
Okay, so
Indicate.
what's happening now?
So these are K2 meters. Basically, they can read fluctuations in
The electromagnetic.
electromagnetic field. Thank you. And so what we're doing now is we're going to be asking questions, and he's listening to the radio frequencies, and he's going to call out anything that he hears on there. So it's basically like an EVP session, but like live. I guess
Movement.
Okay. Are you moving around? Is somebody here with us?
Are you an adult or a child?
What is that?
It just went off. The K2 just went off. This is a K2 meter. It's not gonna hurt. Look at that, it's going off.
It is. That's interesting.
1 Corinthians.
Okay, we should probably look that up. 1 Corinthians. I wonder what that means. Were you the ones making these lights go off that you were asking about?
You.
Me? What about me? Do you know my name?
Purple.
That's interesting. That was my mom's favorite color. And earlier I was asking if there was any message from my mom. Not saying that's related, but that's certainly interesting.
Very interesting.
And the K2 just went off with that too. Are you my mom? Oh, big spike.
Yeah. And I'm not even, mine is still,
Yeah, that's interesting.
it's just yours.
That's just mine.
Yep. Wow, that is
Wow.
interesting. It's holding steady on.
Wow,
Whoa.
all the way to red. Are you my mother?
He's gone.
Who's he? Oh, the K2 went off. It's like, I mean, it stopped.
It did.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Do you know?
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man.
Who are we communicating with?
Do you have a message for any of us?
Good Christian.
And it's spiking again.
Spiking
That
again.
is so weird.
It's like every time he says something, it spikes.
Yeah, that's weird.
Interesting, yeah. I've never seen that before.
I haven't either.
He can't hear anything that we're doing.
No,
he can't.
he's basically like sensory deprivation, so he's got the headphones on.
And then
He
whatever
can't see.
Me.
words that come to his mind, he says.
Tiffany.
Tiffany. So the words that he's getting is coming directly from like radio frequencies. So
Yeah.
it's cycling through like every channel possible.
Oh, a spirit box.
Yes,
That's right.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's Tiffany?
Installed by Tiffany herself, who was a family friend.
Are you Tiffany?
Are we communicating with Tiffany? Did Tiffany work here?
Did you, or are you Tiffany? Can you make these lights go up if you're Tiffany? Spiked a little.
Country music.
Tiffany like country music?
Do you want to dance to some country music in the ballroom?
Yeah, some two-step.
That's spiking.
It is.
Did you dance to country music up in the ballroom? That's weird. That was interesting.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting because she was talking about if you can send a message to her mom or get a message to her mom who passed away in 2020. And then
And then you said purple.
you said purple, which is her favorite color.
And my mom was very holy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna look.
And
up
then you said First Corinthians.
I'm gonna
You
look
said
up
First
what that is real
Corinthians,
quick.
and she was really holy. And then you said Oh, it's spiking again.
That's because I'm on the phone. I
Oh,
just
that
turned
is
my
your
phone
phone.
back
That's
on.
right. And then that's another thing. So every time you say something, it will go off.
Just about, which is weird. Okay,
Every time you will say something, the your K2A will just go off.
1 Corinthians. The main message of the 1 Corinthians is to guide the church in Corinth towards a Christ-centered life by addressing issues of unity, morality, and spiritual gifts within the community. Paul urges them to live out their faith with integrity and love, recognizing the importance of both practical actions and theological understanding. He emphasizes the resurrection of Jesus and the hope it provides for believers. Okay.
All right.
I don't know, how that fits in, but...
Sounds like something a Christian would appreciate.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot of Christian-centered responses, which was...
Again, we're in Kansas.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I agree.
You're right, yeah.
I think there's a lot of Christian stations.
Yeah, I don't think it was my mom or anything like that, but it was interesting. So.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Is this yours? Do you own this?
I do, yeah. I ordered it specifically for
I
the
find
Estes
it
Method.
amazing and disturbing and awesome all at the same time.
Why, hello there, everybody. It's me, John Gobblecott, host of the #1 comedy podcast in the world, unless you choose to Google it or fact check that information. I want you to know that there's a fun new show on YouTube called Nam Geo Paranormal, where my friend Brandon travels around, looking for ghosts. He's a little bit skeptical, but I'm trying to tell him, man, I've dated a bunch of ghosts. Match with this girl on Tinder. I'll start messaging her, and then, she won't answer my texts anymore. And I'm always telling my friends, I'm like, hey, she's not answering my text. And they're like, oh, she ghosted you. And I'm like, oh, so they are real. The spirits are all around us, and they're on all the dating apps. Anyways, I think you should subscribe to his YouTube channel and watch his show right now.
If something were to happen, if we were to convince ourselves that there's something going on here that we can't explain, what would be the most rational thing to assume that it is? I don't think that there are people that have died, because I don't believe in souls or anything like that. I know you don't either. So what would it be if we find a haunting?
Yeah, I don't know. If I walk into a cold spot, is it a general from a Civil War battlefield who has been marching, the earth, covered in ectoplasm? Or is it simply a temperature change? If I hear the rattling in the walls, is it old pipes, So I don't, are you asking what would it take to prove it to me, or?
Not necessarily, but let's say that we proved to ourselves at least that there is something supernatural happening. Do you think that it's more logical to think that it's a dead person or maybe something like a rift in the space-time continuum or interdimensional beings? Alex Jones is right. There's interdimensional beings.
There are bad things that look like elves that have horns when they show you who they really are. And there are good things, but they don't contact you unless you contact them. And then they're almost not even concerned with what you're doing.
Like Star Trek, where there's there's a good Seth and an evil Seth, and they're existing along same relative timelines, occasionally interacting.
And maybe we'll get a double shot of you on accident.
I know. I'd have the Spock goatee.
And we'll get to meet the good Seth tonight.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's funny, not to get too off in the weeds, but we talk a lot about spiritual holidays like Halloween and how the ancient Druids used to believe that in certain times of the year, specifically in the changing of the fall to winter season, the realms would slightly overlap so that the spirit world could connect to the physical world, and then ghost spirits, etc., would come here, and that's where we get all those things. You know, people would put on masks so they wouldn't be seen by the spirits. They would leave treats, apples and nuts and fruits and candies on their porches to make sure that the spirits weren't mischievous against them. So the trick or treat thing, that's a whole other deal. But this idea that, you know, would there be an overlap? Would there be intersections of the physical world where the spiritual could, I don't know, hop in, say hi, you know, tap on something? You know, what would be the best explanation? It's a challenge for somebody who just doesn't believe in spirits. It's a challenge for me because I want to peer review that stuff, man. You know, I don't think I can totally trust my perception. I think perception might drive a longer conversation where we can start assembling data and experimentation. But I saw it, I thought it, I felt it, and then what would it be? Now, what do I want it to be?
Aliens.
I think maybe I would like it to be every dog that I've ever owned that passed away was coming back, and it was wagging its tail and just sort of nudging me and letting me know, you know, sorry I had to leave you after 12 years, but I'm in doggy heaven and I'm doing great. I think that's what I would want. It's not really a fair answer. I totally dodged your question.
No, it's fine. Obviously, we're just bullshitting anyway because we don't have anything to go off of.
Well, you know, it's so kind of the paranormal investigators to allow us to show up because, I mean, they could have seen us as adjutants, maybe it would be the word. You know, they could have thought, well, they're here to make fun of us, or they're here to diminish us, and I'm not here for any of that. Having known them for only a few hours, from what I've seen and heard, they're lovely people. They're not, you know, they're not stupid. I don't think they're sheep. Do I think there may be some suggestion, pattern-seeking, confirmation bias, brain psychology? Well, maybe. But, you know, they're going to allow us to play along. And I made this promise. I said, my mind is not open so my brain falls out, but my mind is open. I haven't walked in deciding you're wrong. I've walked in because whatever happens, whatever's true, let's figure that out. That's fair, isn't it?
That's how I try to approach these, you know. Obviously, I'm not a believer, but I try to, it's just like going to a scary movie. I try to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, but I mean, if something taps you on the shoulder in there.
See, that's something I don't think I could trust, because I would just assume that I'm having a phantom.
Right? I mean, what would be the more accurate explanation? That expectation or conditioned response or some fluke sensory thing happened, or an agent of the spirit world crossed over for the purpose of doing what?
Right? Getting your attention.
Like, hey, and then disappearing. If you were a ghost, when you came back, what kinds of things would you do?
I think I'd just kind of like move things around to mess with people. You know, I'd go to my friend Chris's house and just, you know, move things a few inches.
Really?
You know, maybe move things like to the other side of the room, and he's like, I remember putting that there. Just,
that's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. I'd like to, you know, what would I'm trying to think. I would want to check in on the people that I'd left behind. I'm guessing if I'm a ghost, I can move from here to there, like globally. I don't know, or maybe I'm locked into to the place where I perished. I know there are different types of ghosts, and I'm going to be speaking a little bit about this in some of the material I'm producing. There are all these categories of supposed ghosts, you know, from the wraith to the poltergeist to the demon. And there are mischievous ghosts, and there are malevolent ghosts, and there are calm, kind, you know, ghosts who want to come and assure. There are familial ghosts and strange ghosts, and there's all kinds of variations on the theme. I would want to come back and assure the people that I'd left behind that, yeah, I was good. and that they were loved, I would want to just sort of hug them from the spirit world, you know.
I guess that is a better answer, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not setting you up for that. I'm not trying to play the hero, but I also, and this is, I don't know, this may make me a bad person. I would want to find all the people who are horrible people who have been getting away with it, and I would jack up their lives. I would drift into the walls of their life, and I would start doing stuff that just wrecked them. Like, not physical harm, but you know, I don't believe in karma. We all know that there are good people who get their teeth kicked in all day, and there are horrible people who get away with it.
As a ghost, people who get elected president.
I would want to come in as a ghost, and I would want to sort of provide some equilibrium by really jacking with the lives of horrible people, and maybe finding a way to make the good people have a better day. I don't know.
Maybe that is the best argument against the existence of ghosts, because you would think that some decent ghost would be haunting all these people.
What is it about the spirit world that makes the spirits want to come back and turn a figurine a quarter turn on your mantle, or giggle from the basement? You know, I mean, if there are entities, personalities, figures, agents, souls, and they are that desperate to connect with us here and now, why the trickery? Why the half-assedness of it? You know, why not just show up and say, look, I'll hang around until you can call the people in the lab coats to bring me in, and we'll prove that I exist, and we'll just get it over with. And by the way, let me explain to you what happens after you die. If anything, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? Do dogs go to heaven? You know, that's what I would want to do from the afterlife. And instead, you know, people are like, oh, wow, you know, a gentle breeze blew a butterfly across my nose at dusk. My grandma loved butterflies. I'm not convinced that's compelling evidence for ghosts. So,
you know, eternity gets boring, so at a certain point you just start moving things a couple inches.
Yeah, we're like a sandbox for the other world. You know, they build castles and kick them over and start again. Yeah,
keep busy. Tops is investigating down in the basement, so we'll head upstairs. It's very loud in here. You can hear just every footstep.
Well, if you were alone in the house and you heard the creaking of wood, it would be effective.
Yeah, it would be startling. So this is the library. This is, I guess, Violet's favorite room.
This is where WP used to come and smoke his pipe. They say that you can still smell some of the aroma of the tobacco and the paper and the wood. I can't smell it.
You know, my sniffer doesn't work that great, so... Here's Violet. I guess Violet was a librarian. So she spent a lot of time reading. And yeah, I'd love to have a library like this. Fill it with Seth's books.
It'd be a very small library.
So Violet, if you're in here, if you're in your favorite room, can you make a noise or move something for us? We'd love to meet you.
The most badass chandelier I may have ever seen.
That is awesome.
I mean, you've got all of this opulence and elegance and refinery going on below, and up here it's like steampunk, baby. That's awesome. Bolts, chains, and oh yeah, pipes. Yeah, that's my kind of family right here, baby.
Oh, and the uranium glass. It's uranium, so I guess it's luminescent or whatever you would call it.
I mean, when you say uranium, I'm checking half-life statistics in my mind. Like, don't touch, don't be near. Can I feel myself changing? Am I going to grow a third eyeball? It's very cool.
Yeah. The tragic thing is people back then didn't have access to UV lights, so they couldn't even experience how cool their dishes actually were.
I'd mentioned as well that people in the early to mid 20th century had no idea how dangerous uranium really was. I used to sell uranium and toys sold to children. What is it about places that have butlers and maids lends itself to the old haunted house type story? You know, the butler continues. Apparently the butler living in the basement, they say that his spirit continues to exist in this place, and he sometimes will lean in the doorway and greet people as they come in the front door. You know, the butler comes up from his quarters down below to make everyone feel welcome above.
Dedicated employee. Maybe that's why it lends itself to hauntings, because people nowadays, we're not going to stick around. We're not going to have that much loyalty to a workplace.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. You know, this is an odd observation. It just sounds so contrived, and I'm sure it is. But I've always felt like haunted houses, ghost stories, lore, etc., lend themselves so much more to places with old wood. You know, more than metal, more than glass. It's something about the wood itself. It is like it's porous, it's of the earth. Does it absorb the spirits of the people who walked around it, who sat on chairs placed upon it, who spoke words? You know, if you were into this kind of thing, if you believed, the romanticist in you would say, well, you know, the wood, the earthy wood would actually bring in and sponge up all of these attributes of the living and then preserve them long after the living had died. I always thought that was an interesting way to look at these old wood floors and old wood bookshelves, wooden furniture, wooden bedposts, etc.
Maybe all the stories come from the fact that the wood floors make a lot of noise. They're settling.
Much more practical and sensible, yes. Less romantic, but yes. Truly, in fact, as I walk here, and I'm in very soft sole shoes, you can just hear the tiny creaks. Oh, really gets intense here. This piano is apparently several hundred years old. I can't imagine what it would have been like to hear this thing played. Musical instruments, especially pianos, organs, violins, they seem to lend themselves to haunted lore as well, especially when you have statues of things upon them.
Wasn't one of the claims that they hear piano music every now and then?
I hadn't heard piano music, but I wouldn't doubt it. Piano also incorporating the wood and the corded strings which produce the notes, you know.
Head downstairs. There's the workshop. I guess she was saying that a lot of people feel uncomfortable in this area. I don't know what that means.
I know the butler lived down here. In fact, as I recall, the butler's quarters were right next to the stairs.
Yeah.
It's got the little dresser, table, old radio. You can see the old fan. Can I zoom in? The old fans, why bother to have a cage on that? Why would you, like, you can get your entire hand in that. Yeah. My grandparents had one just like it. Now, if I didn't know you were behind me and I saw that shadow to the left of the fan,
I would probably be convinced I was being visited by an apparition. But that apparently is where the butler slept, in this room. And then he would climb the stairs to greet people above. But yeah, there is something down here. It kind of smells a little damp. It smells very old.
You know, I didn't bring my EMF detector with me, but I kind of wonder if maybe this is part of what makes people feel uncomfortable.
Well, I saw there was a big box just down the hallway. You know what? Let's follow this. Some of the wiring is newer than others, but it's all pretty new. There was a time not long ago, I think, 50, 60 years ago, when the insulation for electrical wiring was cloth. You know, and talk about being able to detect electromagnetic radiation. These days, of course, it's had to be updated for code, but still.
Yeah, look at all these wires. You know, that's supposedly one of the effects of electromagnetic field exposure is feelings of discomfort and paranoia, that sort of thing.
Is it said that just the natural effect of being around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just being
an
around
EMF?
a high EMF, having that high exposure can
cause me to vibrate in the negative?
I guess so. So that is often attributed to claims of the paranormal.
Now, elevator?
Oh, it's an old school elevator. I'll have to go back and watch the tour.
I'm guessing that's an elevator. Looks like the bottom of an elevator box.
Huh. Gotta be brave to go on that.
I'm sorry, that rope is just straight up noose material.
I know. That was the first thing I thought when we walked by it earlier.
It's a little thick, but you know, if you see this kind of thing hanging in a scary basement, it does, make one think twice. Where to next, partner? I'll follow your lead.
I want to go check out the bowling alley.
Can we get in there?
I think she said there's a lot of decorations and stuff in there, but maybe we can at least get a glimpse of it.
They host events, like everyday events in this mansion. And so they do have Halloween stuff, Christmas trees. They hold dances in the ballroom above.
Oh, I found death.
Oh, and speaking of Halloween decorations, what a nice touch.
I don't think it's a decoration, Seth.
Oh my God.
That's a spare.
This was the bowling alley, and that is seriously a century-old bowling pin, right? Did I just knock over?
I think something threw it at us. That's what we'll tell you.
Is that what happened? Sorry. To the spirits of the 300 game.
We all know who is at fault here. What the fuck are you talking about?
I am sorry. So this was a place, this is not distracting as I talk about bowling. This was a place where they would roll bowling balls down a long lane.
Yeah.
Come on, really?
Nice.
You know, if I had a slew of Halloween decorations, this is where I would keep them. Wow.
This is fun.
And they were never seen or heard from again. If you weren't aware that you can buy on the internet pictures that change expression as you walk by them, you might be totally convinced that what you and I just saw was real.
You know, it would be interesting to see how people from the late 1800s, early 1900s reacted to those things.
Well, spirits, would you choose a satin or a matte? Dark brown, light brown. Earth tones, more copper, a little bit of magenta.
Yeah, if anybody's down here, there's lots of stuff here that you could knock over and throw something. So,
prove that that you're here?
If I was a spirit down here, the Reaper is the first place I'm going.
Right. Yeah.
First place, I would animate that sucker, and I would be shambling through the basement, and then going up and down the stairs, creaking my little bony feet. I would be having the time of my life.
There's mannequins in here too. I mean,
upstairs. Did you see in the
fainting room,
and on the floor below? In, I think, the maid's quarters or the seamstress room. They had that mannequin where they would, I guess, put the dresses on, but they have that, I don't know, that it's not blank, but it's sort of a neutral expression. So you begin to project things onto it as you watch it. And I can see how somebody primed would be thinking they're happy, they're sad, they're thoughtful, they're melancholy, they're plotting my death. I can see that. I can see that.
I guess we could probably just cut through there.
I don't know, there's a rope.
How should we ever get past it?
We are now definitely angering the spirits. The spirit which will come and accost us with an O'Bannon valve cup. And perhaps a power tool.
Or any of these. There's quite a few things that I would, not like to have thrown at me.
Every mansion should have one. Every mansion built in the early 1900s should have what we are looking at. We've got the sickle, we've got the pickaxe, we've got the pitchfork, we've got rods of bamboo, we've got rakes and claws, we've got what is that? Something to till the lawn.
Yeah, till.
Oh yeah, this is good stuff. It is amazing to see how this was considered state of the art. This was considered. I mean, this was the property of one of the richest men in the region.
Mm-hmm.
So if he needed a saw, or he needed a way to work the garden, or he needed any of these other tools, this would have been considered simply the best that they had for individuals. Really remarkable to think about the hard work, the blood, sweat, and tears it must have taken to do tasks that you and I take for granted. I'm firing up my battery-powered lawnmower. These guys are out there literally toiling with spikes and rods of wood and just back-breaking work.
So here's where they were doing all the laundry. That's another thing we take for granted. We don't have to use any of these things.
My wife and I have a conversation every time I do laundry. So I say, well, if it's white, it's white. So you wash it on hot. If it's tan, that's not white, it's a color. And it goes in with the blacks and the browns and the greens and the reds and the purples. And apparently this is the wrong answer.
Man, I just throw everything in the laundry. I don't even think about it.
I'm always in trouble. I'm like, well, it's not white, it's color. There are whites and there are colors. Right? Cold water, hot water.
I think as long as the colors aren't like brand new clothes, you're fine.
I'm going to tell her you said that.
Because that's the only time I've ever had anything bleed, is whenever I threw like a brand new red shirt in there, and that was a mistake. But any other time, it's been fine.
Something was barricaded in this room. Whatever you do, don't remove the 2x4. Sorry.
Don't enter.
I just made up an entire backstory that isn't part of the actual tour.
We should have, written the script for a horror film and shot it when we were here. Here's where they keep the booze. Apple cider.
Wow, it's The Shining. Not eating those.
Walk-in freezer.
Interesting. What would freezer technology have been like back then?
Well, she was saying that they had ice shipped here, and they would fill that room up with ice, and it would cool down this room.
Huh.
So, I don't know how long that
last? Do they have to do that every day?
See, these urine samples are definitely proof that we need to be drinking more water in our daily lives. If it's that color, you are not hydrating. You are not hydrating. That's just a little helpful tip for you while we peruse the first, or the basement level.
Is there anybody down here with us? Anybody that wants to make a knocking sound? Make any kind of noise? We would certainly appreciate it.
Can you whisper a name? Can you tell me which stock to buy next month? Can you explain to me the popularity of Joe Rogan? You have otherworldly knowledge you can share.
He's just a cool guy asking questions.
Whoa!
I was about
I
to
wear
say,
a size 14 shoe, and these steps are the size of a pack of gum. So I better look down and walk carefully. Okay.
You guys 14s?
Yeah, don't judge me.
I mean, you know, I'm 13s.
What's that joke? With these feet, if you were to put me in a pair of skinny jeans, I'd look like a putter.
Hey, you're on their webcam.
Oh, wow. How meta is this?
Yeah.
Now, when AI takes over, these two can talk to each other, you know?
We can plot our doom together. Ooh, there's the lightning outside. Let's see if I get that.
There are storms coming in. I can't tell if it's going to literally rain on our parade. It might be a nice touch. I'm trying to figure out what that is.
Is that for like grinding stuff?
It looks like it's made for heat. It's got the metal and it's got these canisters that go down into what looks like almost something that a heated container can rest upon. Or it's, I don't know, a seat with a hole in it always takes me to really base places. See, this has to be a stove, right?
Sure looks like
Fireless cooking, it says. Fireless stove.
Okay.
So that's going to be some kind of a heater thing. Maybe it's a dishwasher of sorts. Is this a coffee grinder?
Huh.
Oh, it's an ice... I can't read the word. I guess you put ice in there and crush it?
The ice crusher, yeah.
Huh. And we're back to the dining area. This is, even though it's lit and it's, you know, this I think may be my favorite room in the home. And I just, it's so, it's just emotive for me. It just looks like I can picture people sitting in these chairs and swapping stories and asking about their day. And I can picture someone walking in with a white cloth on his arm saying, "Would you like a refill?" You know, I don't know. The storyteller in me likes this room.
Yeah. Would you like more Chardonnay?
Flowers in a haunted mansion.
Oh, here's the
charming and a little foreboding at the same time.
Appears to be the whole history of Coffeyville.
The history of Coffeyville?
It looks like.
Oh, wow. 1803.
It's a ghost. Oh, that's not creepy at all. Every old house has to have creepy dolls.
You know these things come alive and walk the house at 3 in the morning.
No, these are trapped.
Are they? What time is it? We good?
It is 11:37.
Okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
They shouldn't animate and tap on the glass for another few hours.
Well, witching hours in 20 minutes. So.
Okay, well, let's go down and get the sickle from the basement. Had I been a member of the Brown family walking this massive home, I had an old school Apple Watch. I think it might have read 7,000 steps by now. So this was where WP and Nancy slept.
Right. And then back on the other room is the presidential room or whatever it was called.
Is that a key? Is that a room?
I just saw a shadow behind you too.
A shadow behind me.
Can you go like that again? Because it could have been like turned. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, I'm disappointed. Wait a minute. I thought I had a companion.
Well, WP, Nancy, if you're in here, can you knock on something?
Your vanity is dirty.
You have a very lovely home. Thank you for allowing us to be here.
Whoops. 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 Sorry. Sorry. You don't want to disrupt the chi.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess up the
Feng shui.
mess up the lines.
Like
that
the
have been so
Longhorn
carefully
beetle
manicured.
Oh,
door
is that what
style.
it is?
That's what it looks like.
That's
What is it?
cool.
I'm a fan of longhorn beetles, and that's what that looks like it's supposed to be.
That's really unique.
Is that why in this room?
I think that's like the president. Like that's supposedly where one of the presidents slept.
It's the room that Violet moved to.
I think President
Got it.
Taft slept
Yes.
in this room when he was in town.
No, she said that all he did was come in and like wash his face or something.
They called it the
They called it the Taft room
so they
because-
were capitalizing on his
Yeah.
drive-by.
That's so cool that he was here though.
Yeah, you know.
That's interesting.
Maybe. I don't know enough about Taft to say if it's cool or not.
Well,
I don't either.
Fair. That's fair. I don't either, to be honest.
Who's the big fat president whose suits look like a flannel circus tent?
This is where we were earlier. What was the boy's name again?
Donald.
Donald, that's right.
Died at 11 years old. They both, I think, due to complications from diabetes.
That's so sad.
And the haunted legend says that he is happy in death, and they have seen him sitting like in the doorway of the room, laughing and whistling and playing with his toys. And this was the seamstress's room.
There she is.
Forget about that. So, oh, that's a beautiful dress. It reminds me of. This is kind of dating myself, but have you ever seen the movie Casper?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Reminds me of the dress that she finds in the attic. And
Oh,
puts
yeah.
it on. So pretty.
Casper, it's perfect.
Christina Ricci.
Mm-hmm.
My childhood.
Oh yes. Very beautiful lady.
There's a headless seamstress.
It wouldn't be disturbing except for the little hat.
Right?
And the veil.
It's pretty.
Cool.
Seamstress had a pretty nice little room.
Yeah.
She did.
It's not a bad gig to
lot of real estate.
work for rich people.
Very true.
Is anyone here in the bathroom with us?
Oh, look at the old school hand mirrors lying on the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
You guys can go in.
Check out that old school toilet paper.
I imagine that was probably a really like high-tech tub at the time too.
Yeah. I mean, everything in here was probably state of the art.
That's true. Mirror, mirror on the wall.
And she said that the toilet was one of the first in the state or something like that.
No way. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess the same water that, or it goes in through the same pipe that it goes out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
I'm glad that it doesn't do that any longer.
I have feelings about this.
Yeah.
That and the Amazon cardboard box, which was apparently their toilet paper for the time.
And this was Violet's room.
Yeah, so this room, we got some curtains moving back and forth one day. That was really weird. I think that was not last time, but the time before that we heard. And obviously, there wasn't a draft at the time that we could figure out. Doesn't mean that there wasn't, but.
So even though she was already an adult and didn't live here, they wanted her to have a room.
She had a very tragic life.
Yeah.
Yes, they all did.
Sure.
To the ballroom.
To the ballroom.
See if any of the chairs have moved.
Oh, they're up here.
They're working.
That's fine. You guys have anything after?
Yeah.
Not really.
It's been off a few times, but.
Okay.
That must have been what we heard.
Yeah, we heard her in the basement, actually. Was it the no?
No, we were.
down.
Yeah.
Heard some noises back in there and over here.
Hmm.
We heard footsteps coming from that direction, but we figured it was probably. And also some stuff back behind us too.
We were walking all the way down that floor.
Well, I've had that camera running all night, so hopefully if there was anything interesting.
Nothing interesting happened.
It is like so quiet compared to other times when you've been here.
You know, I was just talking to Seth about how every time I go with a paranormal group, they're like, I don't know why it's so quiet now.
We're not performing. But you know, that could just be too that what we're used to and what we're used to experiencing or not experiencing is we kind of have that precognitive notion that we want something to happen. So sometimes our brains may think something is happening when it's not. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that idea.
Not to like discount anybody's experiences.
Sure.
Like, I'm not trying to say that anybody's lying or anything, but
No, I get it.
But whenever people tell me that, you know, like maybe the reason I'm not seeing anything is because I'm closed off to it or something,
Right.
I'm like, to me, that's just kind of you admitting that you're only experiencing things because you believe in it.
Right. Right.
It's just like confirmation bias.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I know, like, the screwdriver thing is just still so weird to me, and I can't explain that. Whether it was...
I would be weirded out by that too.
Yeah, and then, you know, the footsteps the first time we were here, when we know nobody was walking around, like 1,000% positive. But,
Must be very short dancers in this room.
Well, Nancy was 4'11".
This makes much sense now. I feel like I would have clipped it.
I'm assuming this is probably the original.
Yeah, she said it was the Italian artist. Yeah, there was an Italian artist that stitched the canvas.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. Canvas. Interesting. I clearly forgot it a lot since I've been on this tour 3 times.
Well, it's a good thing that Samantha could come tonight, because I was saying you could give us the tour.
No. My brain is like a goldfish.
Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out Seth's video as soon as he publishes it. It should be coming out in the next few days, and I promise his is much better than mine, much more well-produced. He's a professional, he knows what he's doing. I also have videos about herpetology, ecology, conservation, just general science stuff, and I'm going to be doing some traveling coming up soon, so should have some exciting content coming up. And I have some very exciting things coming up for 2026 as well. So I would appreciate all the support I can get. Any new subscribers, welcome. And let's do some cool stuff in 2026.